The housekeeper began working in a luxurious house and was stunned when she saw her photo in a family photo album. On a rainy night in Seattle, David was making his nightly rounds as a security guard at a store. The rain was falling heavily, creating puddles on the streets. As he checked the back of the establishment, he heard a faint sound. Approaching, he found a young woman crouched among the boxes, clearly frightened and injured. "Hey, it's all right," David said, keeping his voice calm and friendly. "My name is David. You don't have to be afraid of me." The young woman looked up, fear evident in her expression. I don't know who I am," she whispered, her voice broken by the cold and confusion. David noticed the cuts on her arms, realizing she needed immediate help. "Come on, let's get out of here and take care of those wounds," he suggested, offering his hand. She hesitated for a moment, but the sincerity in David's eyes convinced her. As he led her to his car, David tried to understand how someone could end up in such a desperate situation. "I'll take you to the hospital," David said. "I don't want to go to the hospital. I'm fine. I'd rather stay here," said the young woman. David tried to insist, but the young woman seemed determined not to go to the hospital. At the same time, she couldn't stay there. His shift had ended, and he needed to go home. "I'll take you to my house. It's safe there," he assured, feeling responsible for protecting her. On the way, the young woman remained silent, lost in fragmented thoughts that made no sense. David respected her space, focusing on the road while planning the next steps. "Do you remember how you got there?" he asked, hoping for any information that might help. "No, I only remember the rain and the darkness," she replied, frustration evident in her voice. David nodded, deciding the best approach would be to give her time and support as they tried to unravel the mystery of her identity together. "If you need anything, just tell me," David added, trying to assure her she was not alone. "Thank you," she responded, with a tone of gratitude that surprised him. He couldn't help but feel an inexplicable connection with her, something that went beyond simple compassion. "You must be exhausted. I'll take you to my house, where you can rest and warm up," David said, trying to calm the young woman. "It's a simple place, but safe. You'll be fine there." When they arrived at David's apartment, he helped her inside, turning on the lights and creating a welcoming environment. "Sit on the sofa. I'll get some things to take care of your wounds," he said, quickly walking to the bathroom. The young woman looked around the place, feeling relieved to be away from the cold and rain. When David returned with a first aid kit, she was more relaxed. "Let's clean those cuts," he said gently, beginning the task carefully. "Do you remember anything? Any detail about yourself?" She sighed, shaking her head. "It's all a blur. I just feel like I need to remember something important," she admitted, frustrated with her cloudy mind. "I keep wondering if someone is looking for me or if someone is worried about me," the young woman commented, with a lost look. David pondered for a moment before responding. "I imagine so, but the important thing now is for you to feel safe and try to remember what you can. Let's give it time." The two spent the night talking, David trying to piece together what might have happened to her. "Should we call the police?" he suggested at one point, but saw that the idea made her tense. "No, please. I'm not ready yet," she pleaded, her tone almost begging. David respected her request, realizing there was more to her story than it seemed. "Then let's do this on your time," he affirmed, showing that he was by her side for whatever she needed. She nodded, comforted by his understanding. With the fireplace lit and a growing sense of security, the young woman found brief relief in David's company. They both knew the answers would not come easily, but they were willing to face the uncertainty together. That night, an unexpected alliance formed between them as the quest for truth became a shared mission. "Thank you for taking me in," she said softly, looking directly at him. "I really don't know what I would do without your help." "You don't need to thank me. We'll figure this out together," he replied, feeling that this night was just the beginning of something much larger. As dawn broke, the young woman awoke to the gentle light of the sun entering through the window. David was already up, preparing a hot coffee. "Good morning," he said with a gentle smile. "I've prepared something for you to eat. You must be hungry." She sat at the table, feeling strangely at home in that cozy environment. "Thank you, David. I don't know how to thank you," she said, taking the coffee cup he offered. "I'm happy to help. We'll figure everything out together. Don't worry," David assured, sitting across from her. "I think we should start by trying to remember small things, maybe your name or where you live." The young woman paused, trying to focus. "I don't know where to start, but I feel like I'm on the right path," she confessed, hope in her voice. "With your help, I think I can find the answers." "Let's take it one step at a time," David said, encouraging her. "Today, we can try going out a bit, see if any place triggers a memory." She looked out the window, contemplating the idea of exploring the city. "Yes, I think that might help. Maybe seeing something familiar will bring back some memories," she replied, feeling a new determination arise. David smiled, excited about the progress. "Great, let's get ready to go out. I'll show you some places nearby that might be familiar," he suggested, already starting to plan what they would do that day. The two got up, ready to face the unknown, but with a growing certainty that they were on the right path to discovering the truth. There was a sense of hope in the air, a promise that together they would overcome any obstacles. The young woman was determined to find a temporary job while she tried to recover her memory. With David's help, she secured a job as a housekeeper in one of the mansions in Seattle's upscale neighborhood. She spent her days cleaning and organizing, always on the lookout for anything that might spark memories. One quiet afternoon, while cleaning the mansion's library, she found a dusty photo album hidden on a shelf. Upon opening it, she was immediately confronted by images of lavish social events, where she herself was present, surrounded by people who seemed familiar, but whose identities remained out of reach. She looked at the photos, her heart racing with the possibility that she was on the right track to discovering who she was. "David, look at this," she said as she got to his house that night, showing him the album. "I think this might be a clue." David examined the photos carefully, noting the details. "Do you remember anything when you see these images?" he asked, curious about what those photos might trigger in her mind. "It's strange," said the young woman, running her fingers over the images. "It's like I know these people, but I can't identify names or circumstances, just a vague sense of familiarity." David nodded, understanding her frustration. "Maybe the memories will come back gradually," he suggested. "Perhaps revisiting these images frequently might help bring something to light." She flipped through more pages, stopping at a specific photo. "Here I am, at a party," she commented, pointing to an image of herself in an elegant dress next to an older man. "He seems important." David then leaned in to get a better look at the album. "Maybe he is the key to understanding more about your past. We could try to find out who he is," he suggested, feeling they were making progress. "Yes, we need to investigate more about him and about my life before this," Anna agreed, feeling a new determination growing. Maybe this will lead us to the answers we're looking for. My name is Anna. I'm remembering. This is my name, David, said the young woman as tears streamed down her face. David hugged her emotionally. In the days that followed, Anna and David began gathering information about the people in the photos, determined to understand what might have led Anna to her current situation. As they continued their investigation, Anna felt that, despite all the uncertainties, she was finally beginning to find herself again. Does any of these people stand out to you? David asked, looking again at the images. Anna hesitated for a moment. This man, by my side in the photo, seems like someone I should know well, but it's just a hunch. David frowned, trying to understand what to do next. Maybe we should try visiting some of the places where these photos were taken. Perhaps the environment might help trigger a memory. Anna agreed, determined to follow this new lead. Yes, tomorrow we could start with that banquet hall that appears in several of these photos, she suggested, pointing to an imposing building in the background of some images. Good idea. We can find out what these people mean in your life, David responded, supporting her. We'll figure this out together. Back in the apartment, David and Anna sat at the table, the album open between them. We need to examine these photos more closely. Maybe there's a clue in the details, David said, as he flipped through the pages, examining each image carefully. Anna watched attentively, trying to recall any detail. I think I know this man, she commented, pointing to an image of an older man with a stern look. There's something about him that scares me. David looked at her with concern. If he scares you, maybe he's linked to the reason you lost your memory, he suggested, trying to connect the pieces of the puzzle. Yes, but I'm not sure if that's it or if I'm just confused, she admitted with a sigh. I need to know who he is and what his relationship with me is. David agreed, thinking about how they could find out more about the identity of that man. Maybe we should ask someone who might recognize these people, he suggested, considering who they could contact for more information. Anna hesitated for a moment, pondering the idea. Yes, but I need to be careful. I don't want to alert anyone before I know the truth, she said, worried about the possible consequences. You're right. Let's do this discreetly, David agreed, starting to plan the next step. Maybe we can go to some places and show the photos to see if anyone recognizes them. They spent the following days visiting cafes, shops, and parks, hoping to find someone who recognized the people in the photos. The search seemed endless and often disheartening, but Anna did not give up. During one of these visits, they met an older woman in a cafe. When she saw the photos, her eyes widened. These are influential people in Seattle, the woman said, lowering her voice. They have a lot of power around here. Do you know them? David asked, hopeful that they had finally found a lead. Yes, but I don't want to get involved, the woman quickly replied, looking around nervously. Just be careful. They are not good people. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. Does that mean I'm not a good person either? She asked, her voice trembling. I can't say, the woman replied, standing up to leave. But if you want answers, maybe you need to look at who you were before. David and Anna returned to the apartment, digesting what they had discovered. We have to continue, even if it's dangerous, said Anna, determined not to let fear dominate her. David nodded. We're closer to discovering the truth. Let's continue, one step at a time, he affirmed, holding her hand in a gesture of support. Despite the dangers, their determination only grew, driven by the desire to uncover the past and discover who she really was, and what role the influential people of Seattle had in her story. Anna and David continued their investigation, and Anna's determination to unravel her past was stronger than ever. The photos they had found not only revealed a glimpse of her old world, but also awakened a dormant courage within her. Over the last few weeks, small fragments of memory began to emerge, sometimes during her dreams, other times in moments of quiet introspection. "David, these photos reminded me of something," Anna said one morning as they flipped through the album again. "I think I know these people. I have a feeling they are from my family." David looked at her, noticing the change in her expression. "Do you remember anything more specific?" he asked, hopeful that they were making progress. "Yes, there's an important meeting that happens every year at my family's company," Anna replied, reflecting on the details that were coming to light. "I remembered a shareholders meeting, and the date coincides with today." David was silent for a moment, pondering the idea. "Are you sure you want to go?" he warned, aware of the risks. "It could be intense." "Yes, I think I need to do this," Anna said with a determined look. "It might be the key to understanding what happened to me and finding out more about who I am." They prepared carefully. Anna dressed in business attire that David had bought for her, and together they headed to the family company, an imposing building in downtown Seattle. As she entered the lobby, Anna felt a mix of anxiety and determination. The employees in the building seemed to see a ghost when they looked at her, and she remembered even the floor and the room of the meeting. The buzz of executives in the lobby ceased when Anna entered the meeting room. Silence fell over the room like a wave, and all eyes turned to her, shocked. Some even seemed to pale, as if they were seeing a ghost. "My God, it's Anna!" murmured one of the shareholders, incredulity stamped on his face. "This can't be real," whispered another, as panic spread among those present. A tall man in an expensive suit stood up abruptly. It was Richard, Anna's husband. He stared at her with a mix of shock and fear. "Anna, are you alive?" he stammered, unable to disguise his astonishment. Anna stood firm, facing the incredulous stares. "I'm very much alive, Richard, and I think it's time to take back my position here," said Anna, her voice clear and firm despite the tension in the air. Richard seemed disconcerted, as if he were facing a ghost. He quickly tried to compose himself, but could not hide the discomfort on his face. Of course," he said, gesturing for her to sit at the table, his voice trembling. During the meeting, Anna noticed whispers and nervous looks among the board members, who clearly did not expect to see her there. Her unexpected return had turned their world upside down. At the same time, she was having flashes of memory, but still felt confused. As the meeting progressed, fragments of her previous life began to return to Anna's mind. Important business decisions, conversations with Richard, and most worryingly, suspicions of financial manipulations. Each memory that returned reinforced her certainty that something was deeply wrong in the company. When the meeting ended, Richard approached her again. "We need to talk, maybe in private," he suggested, a hint of threat in his eyes. Anna agreed, knowing she needed to confront Richard to discover the truth. They retired to a more private room, where Richard finally revealed his true face. "Anna, I don't know how you escaped, but know that everything I did was to protect our interests," he said, trying to sound convincing. Anna was not intimidated. "Interests? You were trying to destroy me," she accused, feeling her anger grow. "I remember some things, Richard, and I won't stop until I remember everything." Richard tried to downplay the situation. "You're confused. I only want the best for us, he insisted, but Anna did not believe a word. This isn't about us, it's about control, and I won't let you control me anymore, declared Anna, determined to expose the truth. With her heart racing, Anna left the company, knowing that this confrontation was just the beginning of her fight to reclaim her life and her identity. Upon meeting David again, she shared everything she had discovered. We need to be careful, but I won't stop until I find out everything, she affirmed, with a new confidence in her gaze. David held her hand, showing unconditional support. I'm with you, Anna. We'll face this together, he promised, ready for whatever came next. After the tense confrontation at the company, Anna was more determined than ever to unravel the web of lies surrounding her life. Alongside David, she spent hours analyzing old documents and emails she found in her apartment, hoping to find something that could prove Richard's illicit activities and his accomplices. Look at this, Anna said, pointing to an email with a strange attachment. It looks like there are financial transactions that don't make sense. It's like they're diverting money. David looked over her shoulder, trying to decipher the numbers. It looks like a large-scale fraud, he agreed, frowning. We need more evidence, something we can use to confront Richard and his team. Anna knew that meant going deeper than ever before, perhaps even crossing lines she never thought she would. I have an idea, she said, determined. We could try to access the company's files. If we can get a login, we might find what we need. David hesitated, aware of the risks. Are you sure you want to do this? He asked, aware of the danger. It might be too risky. I know, Anna replied, firm, but I can't live in fear. We need answers, and this might be our chance to get them. With David's help, they spent the following nights investigating discreetly. They obtained a temporary login from a trustworthy contact inside the company, who was dissatisfied with Richard's practices. Using this advantage, they accessed confidential documents that confirmed Anna's suspicions. They're laundering money through subsidiaries, Anna revealed, examining the files. This is bigger than I thought. David was by her side, noting everything they could use. We need to take this to the authorities, he suggested, but Anna knew she needed more. Not yet. First, I want to confront Richard with these proofs. I want him to know I'm one step ahead, she decided. The plan was risky, but Anna was determined to face her past and the lies that surrounded her life. She arranged a meeting with Richard, planning to expose everything she had discovered. When she confronted him, his reaction was one of surprise and anger. Do you really think you can bring me down with this? Richard scoffed, trying to maintain his composure. You have no idea what you're up against. I know exactly what I'm facing, Anna retorted, showing him the evidence. You can't manipulate me anymore. I'm taking back control of my life and the company. Richard realized he was cornered, but tried one last gamble. If you go through with this, we all lose. Think about what you're risking, he warned, but Anna was unyielding. I'd rather risk everything than live a lie, Anna declared, with a strength that surprised even herself. And I'll make sure you pay for what you did. With those words, Anna left Richard's office, knowing that the battle was far from over, but feeling stronger than ever. She returned to David, who was anxiously waiting. How did it go? He asked, seeing the determination on her face. It's just the beginning, Anna replied, holding firmly to the evidence. But I'll fight to the end to expose the truth and rebuild my life. David nodded, admiring her courage. I'm at your side, Anna. "We'll do this together," he promised, as they prepared for the next steps in their quest for justice and redemption. After revealing her discoveries, Anna knew she needed support to face Richard and the challenges that would come. Together with David, they began seeking allies within the company and beyond, people who could help expose the truth and bring justice to those involved. "We need to find someone trustworthy inside the company, someone who is also unhappy with Richard's leadership," David suggested, as they reviewed a list of potential contacts. "Someone with access to internal information and willing to take risks." Anna agreed, knowing that an internal alliance would be crucial for her plan. "And outside the company, we need to consider a lawyer who can guide us legally," she added, thinking about the next steps. They managed to arrange a meeting with a company employee who had already shown discontent with Richard's practices. Her name was Julia, a financial analyst who suspected irregularities in the company's transactions. "Thank you for meeting with us, Julia," said Anna when they met at a discreet cafe in the city center. Julia nodded, her gaze determined. "I'm tired of seeing what's going on there. I always thought something wasn't right, but I didn't know where to start," she admitted, relieved to finally have someone to share her concerns with. "We have evidence that Richard is involved in a money laundering scheme," Anna explained, showing some of the documents she and David had found. "We need your help to access more information." Julia reviewed the documents, her eyes widening as she saw the extent of the frauds. "This is much more serious than I imagined," she said, resolved. "I'll help you get what you need. I can't continue watching this without doing anything." With Julia's support, Anna and David were able to access internal documents that confirmed Richard's involvement in illicit practices. Each new discovery reinforced the urgency of exposing the frauds and protecting the company and the innocent employees. Simultaneously, Anna and David sought out a renowned lawyer in corporate corruption cases. After several consultations, they decided to work with Thomas, an experienced and respected lawyer. "I'm impressed with what you've already achieved," Thomas said, reviewing the evidence. "We can build a solid case, but we need to act carefully." Anna felt relieved to have Thomas by her side. "What do we need to do now?" she asked, ready to move forward. "Let's gather all the evidence we have and plan a careful legal approach," Thomas instructed. "This means ensuring we have witnesses willing to collaborate and more evidence to solidify our case." With Julia willing to testify and provide additional information, Anna felt that the plan was finally taking shape. She and David continued to work tirelessly, reviewing every detail, ensuring that nothing was left to chance. During the following weeks, the tension increased. Richard was growing more suspicious and attempted to intimidate anyone he considered a threat. However, Anna was not deterred. Each step she took was a step closer to exposing the truths that Richard so desperately tried to conceal. Finally, with all the pieces in place, Anna and her team decided it was time to confront Richard publicly. They organized an emergency meeting with the board of directors, planning to reveal everything they had discovered. On the day of the meeting, the tension in the air was palpable. Anna entered the room accompanied by David, Julia, and Thomas. Richard was there, confident he could manipulate the situation, but Anna knew this time would be different. She started the presentation with clarity and confidence, presenting the evidence of corruption. As she disclosed the details, Richard tried to interrupt her, but Thomas intervened, reminding everyone that Anna had the right to be heard. "These are the evidence of what Richard has been doing," Anna concluded, handing the documents to the board. "I can no longer allow this corruption to continue. I won't let him destroy what my family built." The room fell silent as the board members examined the documents, shocked by what they saw. Richard tried to defend himself, but his words rang hollow in the face of the irrefutable evidence. "Richard, do you have anything to say in your defense?" asked one of the board members, looking at him sternly. Richard, realizing he was cornered, cast a last defiant look at Anna. "You don't know who you're dealing with," he threatened, before abruptly leaving the room. Anna felt a wave of relief and realization. She knew the fight was far from over, but this was a crucial step in reclaiming her life and protecting the company that her family had built. With her findings presented to the board, Anna initiated a formal process against Richard and his accomplices. The fight was far from over, but the support of the board and her allies gave Anna the strength needed to move forward. Thomas was busy preparing the legal documentation, ensuring that every detail was covered. "We're ready to take this to court," he told Anna and David as they reviewed the next steps. "But we must be prepared for a long battle." Anna knew the road would be arduous, but she was more determined than ever. "I won't give up until Richard is held accountable for his actions," she affirmed, confident. During the following days, Anna and her team continued to gather testimonies and additional evidence. Julia worked alongside them, providing valuable insights into the company's internal operations. Her bravery in testifying against Richard was an inspiration to Anna. "I never thought I'd have the strength to face this," Julia confessed to Anna during a moment of respite. "But seeing you fight with so much determination made me realize that I too can make a difference." "We're in this together," Anna responded, holding Julia's hand with gratitude. "Thank you for your courage." As the case developed, Anna began to reconnect with other family members who had also been deceived by Richard. Her cousin Laura, who had previously been distant, came forward to offer support. "I never knew what was really happening," Laura said, tears in her eyes. "I'm here to help in any way I can." With increasing support from friends and family, Anna felt empowered to face the challenges ahead. The media began to take notice of the case, and Richard's name was in all the papers. This brought more attention but also more pressure. Thomas advised caution. "We need to ensure that nothing distracts us from our goal," he said. "Media attention can be a double-edged sword." Anna agreed, knowing that public exposure could help but also complicate the case. "Let's keep focused," she decided. "The important thing is to seek justice and ensure that the truth prevails." As the trial approached, Anna prepared to face Richard in court. She knew he would use all possible tricks to avoid conviction, but she was determined to proceed. On the day of the trial, the courtroom was packed. Anna entered accompanied by David, Julia, Laura, and Thomas. The tension was palpable, but Anna was ready. She knew she was not alone. She had people by her side who believed in justice and truth. During the trial, the evidence was presented clearly, and the witnesses, including Julia, testified firmly. Richard tried to defend himself, but his justifications failed to convince the jury. Anna testified about her experiences and the threats she faced. Her voice was steady, and her testimony was one of the most impactful moments of the trial. "Richard betrayed me and tried to destroy everything that was important to me," she declared. "But I'm here to ensure he is held accountable." After days of testimonies and arguments, the jury retired to deliberate. The wait seemed endless, but Anna knew she had done everything in her power to expose the truth. Finally, the jury returned with the verdict. Richard was found guilty of all charges. Anna felt a wave of relief and justice hearing the verdict. It was confirmation that her struggle had been worth it. When the trial ended, Anna was surrounded by friends and family, who had supported her throughout her journey. David was by her side, holding her hand proudly. "You did it, Anna," he said, looking into her eyes. "You brought justice and reclaimed your life." Anna smiled, feeling stronger and more complete than ever. "It was an effort from all of us," she replied, grateful to have such incredible people by her side. With the legal battle over, Anna could finally begin to rebuild her life. She knew the road ahead would still have challenges, but she was ready to face them head-on. With Richard finally convicted, Anna felt a huge weight lifted from her shoulders. The trial not only brought justice, but also freed her from the fear and uncertainty that had pursued her since she regained consciousness on that cold night in Seattle. Now she could start thinking about the future and how to rebuild her life and the family business. Anna knew there was much work ahead. The company needed a complete overhaul to recover from the damages caused by Richard's corrupt practices. She convened the board of directors to discuss the next steps. "We need to focus on transparency and ethics moving forward," Anna declared, looking at each of the members. "I want everyone committed to rebuilding our reputation." The board members, many of whom had remained silent under Richard's leadership, now seemed eager for change. "We're with you, Anna," one of them said, reflecting the renewed support of the group. "Let's work together to make the company an example of integrity." Besides corporate matters, Anna was also focused on her personal life. She wanted to reconnect with her family, including those she hadn't seen in years. Her cousin Laura, who had supported her during the trial, was one of the first people Anna wanted to spend more time with. "Laura, I'd like you to take a more active role in the company," Anna proposed during a dinner with her cousin. "Your experience and vision could be invaluable to us." Laura smiled, surprised and honored by the offer. "It would be a pleasure, Anna. I want to be part of this new phase of our family," she responded, moved by the opportunity to help. With the right team by her side, Anna began implementing new policies and practices that reflected her values of honesty and accountability. She also started investing in social projects that benefited the community, something she had always wanted to do, but Richard never allowed. Meanwhile, Anna's personal life flourished. David, who had stood by her side through all the tough times, became a constant and loving presence. Together, they planned a future, not just for themselves, but also for those they loved. "I want to start something new, something of our own," Anna said to David as they walked through the park one late afternoon. "I thought about opening a foundation to support people in difficult situations, like I was." David smiled, admiring Anna's determination and altruistic spirit. "That's an incredible idea. You can make a real difference in people's lives," he responded, holding her hand affectionately. Anna was also determined to recover her memories completely. Although much had already returned, there were still gaps she wanted to fill. She began attending therapy sessions to help her in this process, seeking to understand her past better and how it shaped who she is today. Over the following months, Anna made significant progress. The therapy sessions not only helped her recover memories, but also helped her better understand her emotions and find inner peace. With her personal and professional life moving towards a bright future, Anna felt stronger and more confident. She knew that regardless of the challenges she might face, she had the ability to overcome them and the courage to keep moving forward. "I'm proud of what we've become," Anna said in a company meeting, looking at her colleagues and friends. "Not only did we survive a monumental challenge, but we also became stronger and more united because of it." Applause filled the room, reflecting the support and trust Anna had earned. She realized that her journey, although difficult, had led her to a place of hope and endless possibilities. With the company thriving and her family ties strengthened, Anna was ready for any challenges the future might hold. She knew her story of overcoming and resilience would be an inspiration to many, and she was determined to continue writing new chapters of success and happiness. With the end of a tumultuous chapter, Anna was finally ready to embrace the future with renewed optimism. The past of uncertainties and betrayals was slowly being replaced by a present of hope and new beginnings. Each step she took brought her closer to a fulfilled and complete life. The day of the inauguration of Anna's foundation finally arrived. Friends, family, and colleagues gathered to celebrate the birth of a project that symbolized Anna's strength and determination to turn her experiences into something positive. The ceremony was held in the gardens of the company, a space now full of life and promise. "Thank you all for being here today," Anna said as she took the stage, her smile reflecting the happiness she felt. "This foundation is a way to give back to the community and support those facing adversity. I hope we can make a real difference in the lives of many people." Anna's speech was met with warm applause. David, who watched proudly from the audience, was moved to see Anna's dreams being realized. "You did it," he said when she joined him after the speech. "I'm so proud of you." Anna held his hand, grateful for his unwavering support. "I couldn't have done this without you, David. Your support was essential," she responded, feeling complete. With the foundation up and running, Anna found a new mission. Working alongside dedicated volunteers and seeing the positive impact of their efforts was deeply rewarding. Each success story, each transformed life, fueled her desire to continue contributing to the well-being of others. At the same time, Anna continued to connect with her family. She organized regular gatherings with her relatives, including Laura, to ensure they remained close and supported. These meetings not only reinforced their bonds, but also created new family traditions. In one of these gatherings, as she chatted with Laura and other relatives, Anna shared her hopes for the future. "I want our family to be known not just for what we've achieved in the business world, but also for the positive impact we have on society," she said, looking around at the smiling faces. Months passed quickly, and Anna's life was more complete than she ever imagined. Although the path here had been difficult, each challenge faced had shaped a strong and resilient woman, ready to embrace any opportunity that came her way. David, who had become an integral part of Anna's life, made a surprise proposal during a special dinner with candles and soft music in the background. "Anna, I can't imagine my life without you," he said, kneeling before her. "Will you marry me?" Anna was momentarily speechless, moved by the surprise. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes," she responded, with tears of joy streaming down her face. Anna and David's engagement was celebrated by all, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. With the support of friends and family, they began planning a future together, full of love and adventure. With the company growing and the foundation impacting lives, Anna found balance in all areas of her life. She was a respected leader, a loyal friend, a loving partner, and a positive force in the community. As she walked through the company's garden, now transformed into a community space, Anna reflected on her journey. Every obstacle overcome, every truth revealed, had paved the way to this moment of fulfillment. The gentle breeze caressed her face as she looked toward the horizon. "What comes next, Anna?" David asked, joining her on the walk. "Anything," Anna replied, smiling at the future. We're just getting started, and there's so much more to achieve. I'm ready for whatever comes. And so, with renewed courage and a heart full of hope, Anna was ready to embrace each day as a new opportunity to live fully, love deeply, and transform the world around her. If you were moved by Anna's journey and the incredible transformation in her life, do not hesitate to share this story with your friends and family. Her fight for justice and self-discovery is an inspiration to all of us, showing that resilience and determination can overcome any obstacle. Subscribe to our channel for more emotional and inspiring stories that touch the heart and make us reflect on the power of courage and love. Don't forget to leave your comment below. We rely on your participation to continue bringing more content.